All right, bang, bang. It's Monday. It's March 15th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. We have another snake draft for you. Dave, I said it's March. What does March mean?
March means it's time for the birds and the bees, I think.
Not what I was looking for.
March
You were
Madness?
tossing it to me for an ad
There you
read.
go. Well, maybe my brain's not so bad after all.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you mean, Dave?
I thought we were doing an ad read.
No, the ad read will come soon, but not now. I was
Jake
looking for
looks
a
like
lead-in.
disgusted with
Yeah,
us.
he is. Jake's.
No, I'm just soaking it all in. My first time here. I'm excited.
We will be putting the outtakes to how we decided the draft order and the pre-draft banter on our YouTube. Go subscribe, Barstool Chicago.
I don't know if that's
Thank you,
necessary.
Rag.
Because we were so dumb this morning. We're doing it a little early because it's Friday. We have streams all day. Go download the Barstool Sportsbook app in Illinois. And, everyone's a little foggy here, to say the least.
Yeah.
But, like Chief, thank you, and no thank you, Dave, said, it's March Madness, so no surprise. We're going to do a March Madness draft. And we also have a bonus today. We have two guests. The second time ever we've done this. We have Bobby Reags on Zoom, and in studio, we have Jake Marsh. Jake, Bob, welcome to the show.
What's going on?
Thank you, guys. Excited to be here. My first time in Chicago.
Welcome
There we
to
go.
He just seems like way overwhelmed. He's like, I don't know what these guys are all about. They're a bunch of idiots. It's 9 in the
I've
morning.
met you all before.
No.
Yeah, but
It's
this
just
is
so
like
funny.
this is cultural immersion going on right now. And I
It's
think
so
you're
funny 'cause I
shocked.
can't-
All right. I want to give
I
the
can't
floor
see Jake.
to Jake for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. What is your like knee-jerk reaction or instinct of what this is right now?
Tell the truth, Jake.
Yeah, tell the truth.
Far different from the New York setting.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Far different.
It could be worse.
I never said bad. I just said different.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could be worse. And I'm excited. I like having Jake and Bobby in studio. I love when we do snake drafts when it's like pure experts.
I don't know if
Pure
I'm an
experts.
expert.
Listen, I was sitting next to him yesterday while he was reading the box scores and showing me how to get like the detailed real-time stats. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys just fucking know a shit ton, so naturally, we had to get you guys on for this. And, you're working with 4 dummies, so I'm interested to see what happens here.
I'm curious to see the difference too, because Jake's younger. Jake's in his your mid-20s or so.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, so we're like all like a decade older than him.
But I do wonder, even though we are all younger, I wouldn't anticipate that this is going to be like an old-timer draft, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, a little,
I-
I got mixed.
I'm not taking.
Yeah.
I'll just let you guys into my strategy a little bit. I'm not taking anything that I don't like personally remember.
Okay,
There's one moment.
Same.
Yeah. Right.
exactly. But, yeah, there's maybe like a couple things where I would throw in there just because I've seen like the highlights so many times,
like
but
a
whatever.
million different times.
So here's the categories today. There's going to be a villain, there's going to be a moment, there's going to be a player, there's going to be a coach, and there's going to be an upset. You get one from each category. Deeper board, because we have 6 guys, like we said. Only the second time we've ever done this. We had Dana and Feidelberg on for the beer draft. So should be interesting to see how this goes. Before we really hop into it, though, I would like to congratulate myself on winning the Irish shit draft. I don't know how that happened, but you guys should be ashamed.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get you a little something to congratulate you.
What'd you get me?
So open it up. Open it up. It's for you. For Italian Ed.
It's a trap.
It's not a trap. It's something I think that fits you well and you deserve. That is a Benito Mussolini jumpsuit. So I think that's very appropriate. And it's got all the garb on there that now you've been a dictator for months. I think that you should, that's for you. Nothing fits your personality and the way you run this ship better than that.
Go put it on, Ed.
So as the Italian
Just
who
don't
won,
walk around the
who won
streets.
the Irish draft, that is yours.
I denounce this.
Wow.
This is wrong. This is a deflection.
Nope.
This is the gatekeeper of the Irish shit draft. Sends me this because he got burned.
I didn't-
Because he couldn't come up with a fictional character.
No, I can't. I came up with a great one from a great movie, and it's not my fault that people haven't seen it. I got so many It's another second place vote. You took like a cartoon, and you took things that were I found offensive.
How do they even sell this?
It might be a one of one.
Where'd you get this from?
The internet.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this like bad or no?
What do you mean?
Like, is this like an
You're not
offensive?
It's
wearing
not.
a
If you're
fucking
asking if it's Stalin
swastika.
or Hitler, no, it's not that. I mean, he was a fascist, and so are you. So,
Well, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll pin it up in our
Ed,
lovely
do you know what
office.
happened to Benito Mussolini?
No, I don't.
They hung him in the streets. His own country said, "Fuck this guy," and they literally dragged him out of like whatever the Parliament building, government building he worked out of, and they hung him in the streets.
Well, thanks, Dave.
I just imagine Chief's search history trying to find that thing.
can I tell you the truth? Actually,
Someone sent it.
Stooley DM'd it. Like, look at this for Ed. I'm like, that's a great idea.
Uh,
I bought it like a month ago, and it just came. It was in perfect time for the Irish draft.
that's a long shipping.
Yeah.
That's a long ship.
It came from
Korea's
Italy.
on the other side of the fucking
Yeah.
world, Ed.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
You
you're
Kanye
welcome.
West motherfucker just stole my moment. So I appreciate
Now
it.
the floor is yours. It was a nice gesture.
Regardless. But before we even get started, again, we do have to say Roman Swipes are a sponsor of this show. Most guys have tried different ways to last longer in bed, but thinking about what is this? What
Benito Mussolini?
Yeah, it doesn't always work, Dave.
No, I mean, I'll say this out loud. It never
You
works.
don't think so?
It never works. It's not
Okay.
that it sometimes works. It never works.
Yeah, so don't think about him
no,
because you could get swipes.
Yeah, it's
Right, Jake Marsh?
Of course.
Jake Marsh is not having a good time.
What do you mean? Why do you guys think I'm not having fun?
I don't know, Jake, but
Because you're like,
I just
we're
get the
like on
sense
top
that you're
of
like,
each other.
I came here to talk basketball, and these guys are talking Mussolini.
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
Are you nervous though?
No, I'm excited.
Okay, Jake.
What is the percentage of people you
Can we
think?
finish the
Dave,
ad read?
I was
please.
just trying to fucking.
Please,
start.
Roman paid a lot of money for this. Roman Swipes are clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but they don't require a prescription. They can ship the swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipe packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipe out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry. You're good to go. To get your hands on these, go to GetRoman.com/dogwalk. You can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/dogwalk.
Do you think we could do more snake drafts at 9 a.m.? I like the way this is starting.
This is like a slap. I don't know. Everyone's thrown off. But I think we could get started. The draft order is Chief, Whitesoxdave, Eddie, Carl, Jake, and Reags. So, Chief, you are on the clock. Once again, categories are moment, upset, coach, player, and villain. Chief.
All right. So I'm going to go moment. I'm going with the shiniest one shining moment. It's the highlight you see every single college basketball intro highlight forever. It's the shot. Kentucky, Duke, Christian Laettner, full court pass by Grant Hill, 2.1 seconds, turnaround. Had the presence of mind to give a little shoulder shimmy before he does the turnaround the other way. Buries probably the most iconic shot in college basketball history, maybe like and probably a top 5 all-time moment. So across sports. So I'm taking Laettner the shot.
Worthy
Bullshit.
first
Laettner
round
should have
pick.
Laettner should have been ejected from that game.
That guy shouldn't have been laying there.
He stomps on a dude. That's just typical Duke bullshit.
Shouldn't have been laying there.
Bob is a Kentucky guy, if anyone didn't know. So, are you fine with this being a number 1 pick?
I get it. It's up there. Like we kind of talked about before. You could go a lot of different ways. There's not that Hall of Fame 1-1 that everyone's like racing for. It is like you said, it is one of the iconic just college basketball and basketball shots. So it's worthy of a number 1. I don't even think I had it on my board because I refused to take Laettner.
That's very fair, but it's you're right. It's a it's a Hall of Fame moment, Jake Marsh.
100%. I wasn't alive to see it, but
Yeah. But it's one of
actually-
those you could still take even if you're in line.
Well,
What year was that?
1992. That's actually
Yeah,
one of
I
my
don't
like
remember it.
very first sports memories.
Because you're old.
Yeah, I know. It's not a secret.
Carl, you do like it, you don't like it.
I think it's chalk.
Yeah, it's chalk.
It's pretty chalk, yeah. I mean, that's the one I think we can all agree on would be the top 1-1 pick.
Yeah,
It's a good pick.
It's a deep draft.
It's a deep draft, but
yeah.
that one
Deep
has
draft.
a case more than anything else.
All right. White Sox Dave, you're up.
So yeah, like that. If I had the first pick, that would have absolutely been my pick. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I think I have to do it. Like, sorry, Carl, I don't want to.
Yes, you do.
But at the same time, I do. It's the best fucking. And we're talking comebacks or moments, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did we just establish that? Mm-hmm. Illinois over Arizona, down 15.
Oh boy.
3 minutes left. I walked out. I was watching at Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's a scumbag.
Fucking.
It's
such a
it's
bush
the-
league scumbag.
It's not though. It's not.
If we're talking
trying
about
to win
moments,
drafts.
if we're talking about moments of Carl's life, it's like getting married and then that game.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
you
you're
took
just-
it.
And then you're like, well, I don't want to do it to you. Yes, you fucking
Yes, he does.
do.
Yeah, I
Yes,
do.
he
Yeah,
does.
I do.
Yes, he
Yeah, I do.
does.
Say you want to. You know, just dishonest.
Best comeback I've ever
Fuck
seen.
yourself.
I mean, the 3 minutes left in Illinois they had only one loss that year to Ohio State in the last game of the regular season, I believe it was, maybe second to last, and they just fucking destroyed everybody. Then, not a lot of people remember. His name was Mustafa Shakur, I believe. He rimmed out a shot that would have won the game for Arizona, and it was like halfway down the net, and but it was like steal layup. Steal.
I mean, you don't
layup,
even remember what happened.
3-point
Just get
layup.
out of here.
Darren
Just
Williams,
put
D.
it on the
Brown,
graphic for
Luther
move
Head,
on.
Roger Powell, James
Use
Augustine.
your time to talk shit to me.
I'm not talking shit. It was it's for me personally, out of every single March Madness, and this is my second favorite month of the year because sports starting, spring's back, weather's changing. That's my favorite moment. I was in awe. It's the best sporting comeback I've ever seen in any sport, and I'm not even a basketball guy, really.
Scumbag.
It's like I
absolute
have.
bush league scumbag move.
It's not. I mean,
No, I mean,
better.
and you didn't even do the upset, or you didn't even do the comeback justice. You're just steal.
Yeah, you got to mention the Darren Williams
Yeah.
shot.
I mean, Jack
I
Ingram.
did.
How about that? How about Jack Ingram? How about being down fucking 13 with 3 and change?
But
left?
you listen, we talked too, Carl. You knew you were going to get hurt at some point. in
Well,
this
I
draft.
thought for sure that you in chief would be like, "Hey, let Carl have his moment because that'll be good on the show when he gets to talk about it." And maybe not. Maybe it's better for me to get fucked like this.
I was
Should
not.
I-
I was not going to take it,
I didn't think you would. I didn't think you would. And I didn't take Miracle at one time. I took D2.
and that's why I wasn't going to take
I think
it.
we have
Ed
a
took
gentleman's.
Miracle.
I think we have a gentleman's agreement.
I
on
have
that.
no agreement.
Dave
with Ed.
also took Boxer as well, and I know you like. There might
Yeah,
have been
and
a
it's
little less.
like, you know,
I took what?
Boxer, the
His dog.
his dog.
But
I-
Ace is part boxer
Ace
too.
is part boxer, as is Guinness.
Yeah, okay. Regardless, it's a fucking awesome game.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one, Jake Marsh?
I do not.
No,
Oh,
okay.
that's a
Oh
shame.
man, dude.
So
Wow.
I tell Jeff D'Lo on the dozen trivia. My knowledge is really like 2010 and then
Beyond.
present.
That's when mine ends, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'll have a few here and there, but yeah.
I think I handled that okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
had to do it. I had to do it. It's my personal favorite memory ever. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. I left my wallet in my car in my 92 Buick
Shocker.
Century. I went outside to grab it, and I was pissed because I loved Darren Williams.
Sounds
How
like,
does this
sounds
make
like
the
you
moment
missed the
better?
comeback.
Loved. But I came back 10 seconds later. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They're going to win this game?
So you missed it. You didn't even watch it.
Miss it. I missed like the first couple, like they chipped it to like 6 or 8 or whatever. I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
they
I
got a
watched the
shot
game
here.
at B-Dubs.
I was 16 years old, Ed. You don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings when you're 16 with
You
the
do.
boys?
You do.
Especially when you're from Warrenville.
Yeah, there's Buffalo Wild Wings in town.
That sounds like a shot against the suburbs.
Yeah.
No, but it's a suburb thing, right? That's a fair assumption. Yeah.
They don't have them in the city.
Greatest upset ever or what? I mean,
Comeback.
greatest comeback, sorry.
Comeback, yeah. I mean, in the moment, the Elite Eight. I don't even think it was a first round pick unless Carl took it.
It's my
I
favorite moment
disagree.
ever.
Maybe we're biased, but
I don't know.
For a Chicago show.
There's a lot of other good picks, too.
Yeah,
and
there's-
I'm on the
yeah,
clock while we're here.
yeah.
Yep. I'll toss it to you, Ed.
So we talked about it yesterday, so I feel kind of dirty taking it, but I still think it's worthy of top 3. It's the Weber timeout.
Yeah.
It's the Weber timeout. The Fab 5. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I have to say.
I mean, everyone knows that image. Like it's
Yeah.
it's like the reverse Leitner. Since Leitner won the game, it's
He lost.
everyone know. I mean, it's still what that 30 years later, we're still talking about it, and that's still what everyone remembers Chris Webber as.
He also traveled on that play.
Yep.
So he just fucked up.
And you got the
from where to go.
conspiracy of who was telling him to call timeout.
Yeah, the 30 for 30 on them. They did a great job breaking that hole down. You can see a guy like on the bench, like do a super zoom in, call somebody yelling at him to call timeout, but also use your own brain, Chris Webber.
Right.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
there's still
worthy top 3 pick.
there's still beef with that team. Like there's still so much that carries into it in 2021 as well. So, yeah, Chris Webber timeout, my first rounder, my 3rd overall pick. Moments are flying off the board.
Yeah, it's a run on moment.
Flying off the board early.
That's what March Madness is about, though.
The one shining moment, yes. Jake Marsh, glad you agree.
100%.
Thank you. Carl, you're up.
All right. I got fucked by Dave here a little bit.
A lot.
Thanks. Weber's off the board. Chalk. Shots off the board. Pure chalk. Illinois upset, to me, that's a first rounder. So I'm gonna try and get creative here. I'm gonna take. I think it's my villain, and I think my villain is COVID.
That's fair.
Is it
I mean,
fair?
It ruined
I'm not going to
best
veto.
sporting event in the history of the
Yeah.
world. So.
Yes, but it didn't occur during March Madness because we never actually got it. It'd be one thing
But
if March Madness had
Conference
started.
tournaments. That's true.
We never got any
I-
of that.
I do distinctly remember reading articles last year calling COVID a villain.
COVID's a villain. It's killed, what, 500,000? Dave, how many people has it
About
killed?
550 now
Okay.
in the States alone.
Having said that, is it though? 'Cause
Little
it never
recency
occurred.
bias, though.
Never occurred in the tournament.
Some of these guys were villains for years.
we also said that we are restricting this to just the tournament.
I'm sweating this pick right now because I people could hate this pick.
I'd be okay with it.
Personally, I
think it's a
COVID
great outside the box pick, but at the same time, Chief does have a point.
I mean, it does open up Pandora's box. Like someone could take the stool that the coach fell over. You know, there's a lot of things.
what stool are you
But that
talking
doesn't.
about?
talking
That
about-
doesn't.
I'm not
that
gonna
doesn't-
give it away. Don't
Tell
give it
the
away.
story. Tell the story.
You could, yeah, Jake
Okay,
Marsh,
so
you tell
Ron
us.
Hunter, he's the coach of Georgia State. Now he's at Tulane. His son, RJ Hunter, hit a deep 3 to beat Baylor in a 3-14 game in 2015. And in the championship, he tore something in the conference championship, so he had to sit on a stool in March
Towards
Madness.
ACL.
ACL, yeah. And then when he hit the buzzer beater 3, he fell off the stool.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's the Pandora's box. This does open up.
Yeah.
But
The only thing is the stool doesn't fit into a category.
yeah,
Like we don't have a prop.
for some reason I thought he fell over the stool. Sorry.
No, you had to sit on it and just legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fell off.
toppled.
Yeah, my bad. So regardless, like you know, I think this is pretty specific though, where I don't think anything else would go out there. I don't know. I'm fine with it if you want. Do you guys not?
I think COVID has a place in this draft as a villain.
I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate because I like making Carl sweat, but I'm not going to veto that.
I'm not going to veto.
Jake?
I'm not gonna veto.
No.
Okay.
I think it's fair.
And honestly, I came in this draft and I just needed something on the first round board. I don't have another pick after COVID. If you guys vetoed that, we could have been here for 15 minutes.
All right.
As I shuffled the deck on second and third rounders.
COVID-19, you're going to get that red ball, whatever, you know what I mean? That
With the
fucking,
spike proteins,
Yeah.
Ed.
Thank you, Dave. Dave, the coronavirus expert in the office. The spike proteins. Who the fuck knew that was that?
Are they spike proteins?
Have
Yeah,
you seen
that's
the
why-
map? The map that he refreshes like once an hour?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's.
I got it pulled up right now.
Show it to the camera. What is it?
It's a map that you can click on countries. Like, for instance, Israel has given out 100 doses per person in their country. You need 2 to get a shot, or 2 to be fully vaccinated. And they have 44% of their entire country vaccinated thus far.
Do we need the breaking news sound?
No, you don't.
No?
This
Okay,
is not
okay.
breaking news. The U.S. has given out 30 doses per 100 people. 10.2% of the country is fully vaccinated.
Listen, if people don't know, if people weren't following Barstool Chicago Radio, Dave literally does.
I'm
so
obsessed
much
with it.
research about
I'm obsessed with it.
coronavirus.
Illinois is at 9.8 fully vaccinated right now. 29.81 doses given per 100 people.
So how do you feel, Carl, taking the player that you know so much about?
Scumbag move.
Eye for an eye.
I was hoping it was going to fucking get back to me in the
Eye
wraparound.
for a fucking eye. Oh my God! Thank you.
Message boards, baseball prospects, and coronavirus. Whitesoxdave's 3.
All right, you guys want to hear something pretty off
Not
topic,
really.
but it's really
This is gonna
quick.
be the longest draft.
No, it'll be quick. So I got this weird thing where I have a prep baseball report account, which is kind of like Rivals for baseball, and I go and I just like look at different high school kids. Like I stumbled upon this kid from Massachusetts, and the kid he's committed to actually Tulane, and I immediately sent it to all the Sox scouts I know. This kid's got so much projectability, and
What are we talking
the
about?
Sox scout comes back to me, he's like, "You got an awesome eye. Thank you for this," and that's all I heard from him.
Thank you, Dr. Dave Williams.
So if he
Thank
gets
you,
drafted by the
Scout
White
Dave
Sox, it was
Williams.
because of me.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Message board, Dave Williams. Jake,
Yes.
who's probably wondering what the fuck's going on.
No, I'm good, but I do have a question. So I know we talked about pre-draft. You can't overlap player and villain, right?
No. Yeah, we did. We
Okay.
cannot do that for the
So-
people. I
Yeah,
should have
you
mentioned it
can't
off the
draft
top.
COVID as your player.
No, I would never. So you took Leitner's shot. Can I take Leitner the villain?
Yes.
Yes.
That was my
Yes.
pick.
Okay.
That was my pick.
Okay.
Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, again, this kind of contradicts what I said earlier because I don't really remember it. But if you have a documentary called "I Hate Blank," you're a
Exactly.
villain.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah. So
All-time villain.
Yeah. That's my
All-time
pick.
villain.
Yeah. I was actually torn between taking the shot or taking him as a villain at the number
Yeah.
one pick.
Okay.
I kind of feel like Reags would have went there. Did he take your pick?
No, my top 2 picks are available,
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
and I'm shocked.
But
I think one. I'm going to take what I think is 1-1. I think it's the clear-cut 1-1. I was playing my cards.
Wow.
The Leitner shot, great. You know what? What's a better shot? At the buzzer to win a national championship.
Yep.
Chris Jenkins. The fact that the confetti cannon went off correctly at the right time. You had Jay Wright with the bang, just playing it cool in that fucking $1 million suit. Clear cut 1-1. You win a national championship. You get Chris Jenkins playing against his. He basically lived with the Carolina guard as a brother, Nate Britt. They're brothers. You get Jay Wright's bang. That's the clear cut 1-1. That's one shining moment. You win a title.
We could have just done a moment draft. We're 4
Yeah.
out of 5 in. It's just moment city. I
Or
love
6.
it. I mean, as a
It's just, it's not though.
It's
Like,
a great moment.
It is, but he's like, it's better than the Leitner shot. If it was,
It
would.
literally won the title.
I mean, Duke doesn't win the title without the Leitner shot, so it's like tomato. But I don't like. It's the Leitner shot. It's the most iconic shot there is. You don't like Christian Leitner, but that doesn't mean Chris Jenkins. Like no one. You say Chris Jenkins. People are like, huh? This is like the old Jaws thing.
Yeah.
You say Barracuda. I say, huh? What? You say Great White Shark. Everyone jumps out of the ocean. You say Christian Leitner. Everyone jumps out of the ocean. They remember that shot. Chris Jenkins. It's like, what?
It's everything. If you say bang, if you just immediately picture Jay Wright on the sidelines.
This is your too deep in the weeds type of pick.
I
man.
think so too.
Winning
No,
the
this is
title.
a fucking great moment.
It was a great moment.
I'm just arguing it's
But-
not better than Leitner.
Sure. Yeah, there's an argument. That I'll listen to that argument, but
That's the argument. I mean, this shot was on my list.
Okay.
But it's
What
not
do
better
you
than Leitner.
think? You looked like Jake. You had something.
Yeah, no, I was saying what you were saying about the confetti going off at the right time. There easily could have been 0.1 or 0.2, and that would have
Yes,
been a disaster.
exactly.
With the
Oh,
To be
yeah,
like,
big time.
that's the confetti guy was the MVP of that tournament. Like
Yeah.
he should have won it because that played into the moment.
because
they
if
had to
there's
stop
time
and
left on the
clean it up.
clock, that
Right.
becomes dangerous.
That becomes another great moment, though. You see people sweeping like that.
The
sweep
game's not
guy,
over.
The guy sweeping up the confetti would have been left shark. You know.
That's
Like,
the other thing with the moment. You had a chef who's sweeping up as the play right before the play started. He sets the screen. The whole thing. That's the moment. That's the greatest moment in college basketball.
All right, Reags. What's your wrapper on? I think I know what it's going to be. I have a very.
It is the true villain of college basketball.
Ooh, not
It
where I thought you were
is.
going.
It's Coach K as a villain. There's a reason everybody in America, except for Marty and Rico, cheer when Duke loses. It's why everyone dances. Leitner's there for 4 years. Krzyzewski's there for 40. He is Duke basketball. He is the reason everyone hates Duke. Krzyzewski's the villain.
When did he become a villain? Because he wasn't
More
a villain
most
when I
recently for
when I
me.
was a kid. He was not a villain.
When Christian Leitner stomped on a guy, then hit a game winner, that's when K became the villain.
Oh, I think it was after that.
I would agree with Chief, but obviously you're the expert and you're
Even then, we're still talking 20 years of him being the villain.
No, he
Like
didn't
the Jay
become
Williams?
mainstream villain until
Like-
one and dones to me.
I would agree with that, actually.
Once
I
it
would
was like,
agree.
oh, wait a
Perfect,
second.
yes.
Like after the JJ Redick charm and shine
Mm-hmm.
started to wear off of like, you
like
know.
Shane everyone loves Shane Battier.
Oh, see, I think
Maybe
you
when
go back
Grayson
to like,
Allen,
Yeah, I think it
Allen
was
to me was
Grayson
like the
Allen.
last great,
Yeah.
like hateable Duke player. Now you don't really have those guys
Because
do
they're all
you?
gone after a year,
Well, it's
right?
different. They start, the Jalil Okafers and the fuck. Who's our guy?
I didn't hate.
Jabari Parker.
Jabari.
That's
Yeah.
Duke now, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you have guys like Matthew Hurt who will probably stick around for a few years, but you saw what happened with Jalen Johnson. He played 7 games or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Kyrie.
but
like,
it's still, and everyone still gets riled up over Duke because it's one person. It's K is Duke.
Yeah. No,
That's the villain.
you're. Yes, I'm not. I'm just saying. It was a legitimate question because I think
Yeah.
I think it's become a thing. Like almost with Twitter has like fueled that. Like I think
See,
I
I
think Coach K has become like a national villain in like the last 7 years, 8 years.
Every time he opens his mouth, he just sounds like a fucking
He's
douchebag.
losing it.
No,
Yeah.
listen. I disavow all of that. Coach K grew up blocks from this office. We're recording right now.
Very true.
Someone might come over and throw a brick through a farmer's insurance window. Probably one of my dad's buddies. So I disavow. He's not a villain. He should be a hero. Reags.
He is, to me, yeah. I'm sticking with that. Those were my top 2. He was my number 1 villain. Like I said, America celebrates when Duke loses for a reason.
He did serve. So I mean,
It's true.
that's tough. I mean,
you
You
hate
want
the
the
truth,
sweatshirt,
Reags?
Reags?
he,
You
yeah,
want my sweatshirt?
seriously.
So,
Yeah.
so you're telling me
He's a West Point guy. I mean, he's a troop. And you,
So is Captain Cons. I've heard you guys talk bad about him.
Great point.
I like Captain Cons.
I love Captain Cons.
Yeah.
He's a fucking knucklehead.
Yeah, I support the troops.
No,
tonight,
Whitesoxdave.
So I don't know. I have a hard time saying that
Kidding.
he's a
We
villain.
love Cons. All right. Jake Marsh, you're back on the clock.
So it pains me to say this, but as an America East guy, there's no bigger upset than the first 16 seed to beat a number 1 seed.
Yep.
Because
That's where I thought Bob
I was
gonna
praying
go.
to God that got back to me.
I had that. That was that. If there was 0 chance it got back to me, but that was third on the list.
So, for those who don't know, I was a broadcaster at University of Vermont, which is an America East team. UMBC beat Vermont in Burlington at the buzzer to go to the tournament. People don't remember that. I remember this because Vermont was a heavy favorite in that conference championship. And then I wasn't there for that. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with it. But the next year, we played UMBC in the championship and beat them. It was great revenge for our guys. So,
Wow.
Do you know Taylor Coppenrath?
of course.
Okay, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Was it the
favorite-
leprechaun dude?
Taylor Coppenrath on Vermont.
Oh, okay, never
Yeah.
mind. I
That-
thought
is
that.
I
that
was
the
like-
kid that could drain.
I was convinced he was Larry Bird.
I thought so too. I remember. Yeah.
Right, because he was like 6'7", 6'8".
Dude, it's
Yep.
just listen. It's such a good pick because all of us sat. We never
Oh,
thought
yeah.
this was going to
Yep.
happen.
Right. And every year you're like, is this the year? Is this the year? You see the stat, 0-68, 0-144. And it finally happens to the best
They're the
team.
team.
Virginia was the hottest team, and they beat them by 20.
Yeah, it was never close.
It was.
Yeah.
They beat the
And it was
shit
a
out of
late night
Virginia.
game too.
Yeah,
I was
so
courtside.
annoyed.
Syracuse was playing TCU. I was working student radio, and I was like not even focused on the game. I was broadcasting
Yeah.
because it was just history.
Yep.
So
It was just a
wasn't even
perfect team to
ever
happen
close.
to, dude.
Like there's a lot of times where, like prior to this upset happening, where like the 16 seed will get out to like a 22-18 lead, and they look good, and they're hanging around, and then all of a sudden it's a 30-point blowout. Like I remember in 2005, 2006, it was Fairleigh Dickinson. Was that the first round game against U of I? Like they had it close at halftime within like 3 or 5 points, I want to say, and everyone was like, "Holy
Are we
shit!"
giving away? Yeah, I mean,
that nothing happened in that game. No one's gonna pick it. But then this never was
Right.
close.
yep.
Never.
Great one. Great,
Great
pick, Jake.
Yep.
Good back to back for Jake there. Very fucking strong with late.
Very
night
strong.
UNBC over Virginia. Carl, you're up.
All right. I'm going to take. I have a chalk upset. I think I'm taking Steph Curry. I'm taking the sweetest March Madness player in my life. Did you just like lit March Madness on fire? I remember taking like long piss breaks. We were supposed to play Michigan State, but their field was rained out. We were playing at like the Lansing Lugnut Stadium, and it was like the first weekend of March, and it was like 31 degrees. And me and a couple pitchers just kept running in, and we were listening. We were like listening to the game on a radio in the like in the clubhouse or whatever, and they were playing Kansas. I think one of my buddies had money on it or something, and we were like that excited because he was that fucking good going to that game. I think they beat Georgetown.
Yep.
Yep.
Who is it? Kansas and Wisconsin.
They lost to Kansas.
Yeah,
But they beat
Elite Eight.
Wisconsin and Georgetown,
They beat
I think.
Wisconsin. They beat Georgetown, and they beat.
Was there a 10 seed? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 10 versus 2, I think. in the
Yeah,
Elite Eight.
that was the Georgetown. Yeah.
Like we were in the middle of an NCAA competition, leaving
versus
that,
one.
going
Yeah.
into to listen to it on like a radio because we were that into like how much he had taken over March Madness.
He was incredible, and it was just like that was a guy who just he couldn't miss, and he hasn't missed a shot since.
And
Like, the guy-
what's wild is he came back to college after that.
yeah, well, because he was so skinny, he was like
I
100.
know,
Like
but
that
it's-
Steph Curry was like 160 pounds.
I know, but I feel like that's what made it even cooler. Is typically a guy like that is like, especially from a mid major, is a senior. And
I
you just,
wish-
like, never hear from him again.
I wish there was a way to equate things too, because what he did for Davidson just can't be said enough.
They
Like,
are
you don't think of Davidson, like you think of Steph Curry when you think of Davidson.
when
Yeah.
You know,
my Twitter profile picture, I'm wearing a Davidson sweatshirt.
are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
100%.
Like, if there was a way to equate that, it's
One
like
player, one team.
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Taylor Coppenrath.
I remember looking it up.
Debatable. Hey, Vermont had their first NBA player yesterday.
Hey,
so-
no spoilers. No spoilers.
I was in college when this happened, and I remember looking up like, where the fuck is Davidson at? Because obviously he put Davidson on the map, like you guys just said. And North Central College in Naperville, Illinois, is bigger, like student population
It's a
or
small
whatever
ass.
Beautiful campus.
than Davidson is.
Gorgeous.
It's got like
Do you remember
1,800
Steph
people at it or
Curry's
something.
rap video from there?
I do not.
Horrible.
Well-
Don't. All right. I might have to blog it over
should
the
blog
weekend
it.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you should.
it's downright hysterical because how bad it is and how corny Steph is in it.
Okay, I'm back up. Man, I'm between a couple, okay? But I think I got to go here. I got to go with Kemba Walker for player.
That's a great pick.
And I know a lot of Kemba's legacy comes from the Big East tournament, but he still won a title.
It's a 4-year player too.
Exactly,
Right?
and that shit transfers over. You will never forget him in MSG. Like like I said, I know that wasn't technically March Madness, but
He won a championship.
yes,
Yeah.
like I don't know what else I have to say. Cardiac Kemba was the fucking man.
Yeah, I mean, when the question still posed of who can pull a Kemba, I think that's all it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shows how good it was.
Yeah.
And the crossover, too, even though that was not a tournament. But McGee, he's
Yep.
still a meme or whatever.
Unbelievable. And he's not the best college basketball player I've ever seen. But if you're talking March Madness,
He got so hot.
it's him, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kemba Walker's my player. Whitesoxdave, you're up.
So I got two different upsets that I want to look at. One is very chalk. We've already talked about Duke a bunch, but I'm going a different route. This was my favorite comeback. I got an affinity for the Wisconsin Badgers. I don't know why. I used to party up there all the time in college, but I'm going the Wisconsin Badgers over the undefeated Kentucky Wildcats. In what year is that? 2015 or so?
15.
Yeah, 2015. I mean, Frank Kaminsky, friend of the program, Chicago guy, Bennett Academy guy, but that Kentucky Wildcats team was absolutely fucking loaded. Both were 1 seeds. Obviously, it's not a 16-1 or 15-2, anything like that. But nobody thought that Kentucky was losing a game that year. And Wisconsin, they did it. It was an awesome fucking game. It was a slugfest. I loved every minute of watching it. And I couldn't have been happier for Big Ten and Wisconsin.
What were you saying?
Carl.
Yeah, I was just giggling. It was a 1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. But it was. I'm trying to look out right now. I'm trying to pull up the line for the game. I would guess it was close to 10 still.
I don't think it was that high. I think it was like 6 at most.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Does people not like the pick? Jake Marsh, you don't like the pick?
If I listed 25 best upsets of all time, that would not be on the list.
That's
Yeah.
fine. This is that Kentucky team. They were undefeated. They were so fucking loaded. And nobody on earth thought Wisconsin was going to pull it off, and they did. They beat them by 7 points, 71-64.
You might
But
have
I think a lot of
insulted-
people did because the biggest, like everyone knew there was the mismatch for Wisconsin because Poitras was hurt that game, and that's what Decker took advantage of Harrison or Booker on him. That's why, like, I don't. I mean, it was a good win, but I don't think it's some crazy upset.
It was. I mean, I'm trying to pull up the line.
Damn.
That's fine.
Why'd you say? I don't think it's as bad of a pick as people are giving it. It had an element to it where it
It's a
was.
Final Four game between two one
Yeah, I get it. I get that.
But that
I get
Kentucky
that
team
They
was
were
like-
invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
they-
Harrison twins. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Who else was on that team?
Harrison.
Marvin Cauley-Stein.
Cauley-Stein, Tyler Eulis, Devin Booker.
Okay, Booker too.
A lot of fucking.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a lot of
Did you
NBA
guys
guys.
I mean, Frank
Yeah.
Kaminsky used a first rounder,
Because
as
they
was Sam
suck.
Decker.
Well, that's what I was. That's
But
kind
I
of
mean,
my
those
point.
were like journeymen.
But that's kind of what I was kind
But
of my
I
point.
mean,
like, they
that
both
that
had NBA guys.
That Kentucky team they would have beaten any fucking 16 seed or 15 seed by 1,000 that year. There was 0.0 chance at an upset. So it's not even worth talking about. Like, don't even play the game. The Wisconsin game, obviously they were 1 seed, like I said, but that was a championship game right there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Wisconsin didn't even win at all, but like everybody wanted to see Kentucky go down that year, and everybody fucking hates their coach. I'm not going to say his name.
All right. Wisconsin over undefeated Kentucky's off the board. Chief, you're up.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with real upsets. So in this round, and I'm going with a team that had pulled off multiple. And if you think of teams that were like captivated the nation, I'm going Dunk City. I'm going
That's a
Florida
great pick.
Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, that run that they went on to the Sweet 16, right, Bob?
Yeah, they lost to Florida. I was
Lost
there.
to Florida.
It was
Okay.
at Jerry World.
Yeah, and that team was so much fun. Like, I'm sure, like, it's not even a guess. Like, I know there are YouTubes that are just all the dunks from Dunk City from those games. That team was so much fun, and like you say, Dunk City. Like, no one should remember a school called Florida Gulf Coast University. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But everybody is like, yeah, Dunk City.
Such a sick name, like
Yep.
team nickname too.
Yeah, I mean it's a good. It was a pick that I was hoping was going to fall back to me because here's the thing: when an upset, maybe they're good defensively, there's a good matchup situation. Nobody did it with as much flash as Dunk City.
Dunk
right?
City.
Like,
I just
insane.
love saying
Insane.
it. Yeah.
And like the awesome colors with the blue
Yeah.
and the green colors.
And then you find out like they live in hotels like off the beach.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it
Yeah.
was just
the
there was a
lazy
lot to
river
it.
through campus or whatever it is
Yes.
too that they
There
have.
was
think that's
so
UNF.
much to it. Is it UNF?
Or is that UNF?
I think it's UNF, but I'm not
That's UNF
positive.
with the lazy river.
Yeah. But
I mean, come on, Jake.
Close enough.
no, I didn't
I'm
mean
sure
to,
there's
like,
a
well,
lazy
actually,
river
I'm
somewhere
sure there is too.
around
Sorry.
Florida Gulf
There was
Coast
just a lot of
University.
allure.
And then that guy cashed in hard.
Andy
off
Enfield.
that.
Now
Yeah.
he's at
Yeah.
USC
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
They're
Fuck, did
going to be a
that guy
top
get
5
paid.
seed this year. So
Yeah, and then they pay him like a
his
shit
model
ton of money.
wife in this.
Yes.
His wife's
Beautiful
a
wife.
legit
Yeah.
model.
Because he used to, wasn't he like super rich before he even worked or before he even started coaching in basketball? I thought he like built a business, sold a business, made money. Was like, oh, I want to get into basketball now. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
think I think you're right. I think you're right.
Anyways.
But like you just said, there was so much to that team. Then I'm assuming 15 versus 2, they beat Georgetown too. So the first upset.
and I think that was in DC.
wasn't it? It was basically a home game too.
Reags, it was in DC, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm just looking up Andy Enfield now to see if he did start something before. I didn't realize how young he still is. He's only 51 right now.
It's pretty good. Dunk City.
Yeah, he did. He started and was hired as a vice president of a healthcare software startup. Company's worth more than $100 million.
Jeez.
This guy's the man.
All right, Dunk City over Georgetown.
All right. So now
Sorry, it was in Philly. My bad.
it's okay,
Thursday.
Jake.
Fact
Alright,
check
Jake.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Integrity move. You want to be in the Barada gang? So now I got to go. I need a villain. I'll go player. And I'm going to do this because Carl already took Steph. I'm taking D Brown.
Oh no.
So what? He
Oh,
can't take
no.
D Brown. He took Steph.
I know, but it's just.
What's the problem with that?
Just because I just know he wants some orange and blue in his draft, and
It's not looking good.
He can draft.
He can't.
That's true. He did take Steph though.
Yeah. D Brown was there for him.
I'm curious to see what Bob and Jake will say about D Brown.
Really?
And you drafted him as the player, right?
The player.
I mean, you can't draft him as a villain. He's the best dude of
He's
all
the
time.
yeah, he's the man.
I thought he said no,
I'm like convulsing because that to me that's the biggest pander of all time. And I thought if I took D Brown, I would have gotten murdered because
You think
they
so?
lost to
No.
Wisconsin when it was his team. Like he won the Naismith. He's one of the best
Yeah.
players of all time. But like that run, anybody around that team, everything
It was Darren.
that's Darren's team.
Yeah.
There's definitely
Yeah,
holes in it.
that's
Yeah.
Darren's team. That's fucking
who was more
Luther's
fun?
team. Yeah, I
It was
know,
more
but
D's
like
than
of
Luther's.
all the players across March Madness, did that to me.
But
I don't like to even talk about pander picks, but like
Do you think
that
that's
March
a pander?
the March Madness run with D, like he was. Darren was way better.
Yeah, I agree
way
with
Well,
that.
I
fucking
know,
better.
like,
Darren
he's a
hit
way
all
better
the
player.
shots against Arizona.
I'll
like,
give this
all
to
that
Chief,
shit.
though. It was D. Brown who was on the cover of
Yeah, it's
Sports
D. Brown's
Illustrated.
team.
Yeah.
So like,
And
if
he
we're-
even taught like D Brown would sub himself out to like make like he was like the leader on that team.
Yeah, no, he was definitely the leader of the
Yeah.
team, and it was a great
Well,
team.
Darren was definitely the best player.
But I think if you
yeah,
ask,
but that, if
like
you,
the
I know, but we were talking March. Okay,
Well, do you want to trade Steph for him? Because I wanted Steph.
I know you wanted,
And I know you wanted orange
Why
and
don't
blue.
we? Why don't we keep? Why don't we keep the draft
Let's
moving?
keep the
Okay,
train
hey,
on the
good.
tracks.
Hey, that's a very good.
Let's keep the train
All right.
on the tracks.
Sorry.
D. Brown. I mean, Reags, what do you think?
yeah, when I think when I think of the Illinois, I know D Brown was awesome, but I think Darren Williams first.
Darren Williams. See, I don't. I know Darren Williams.
I would think D. Brown first.
Darren Williams is the better player. Everybody knows that. It was D Brown's team. Like he was the man, and he was the Naismith guy, and he was like the defense. Like he was the engine of that defense too.
But you know how when
the
Eddie
fastest
takes
player.
Kemba Walker, he's taking Kemba Walker because Kemba Walker carried UConn to a national
Right.
championship.
I don't
I'm not
think of-
taking
I don't
Steph
think of
Curry 'cause
D.
he
Brown
like took a
carrying.
10 seed
I-
to the Elite Eight,
I
and
haven't-
nobody even knew who he was.
I have an affinity for guards. I wanted Steph. I wanted Kemba. My third guard was D.
I think the orange headband helps.
It's good branding.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this is going to
everybody
throw
knew him for
people
the
off though, because people are going to be like, "Who? Where? Which?"
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
going to completely
Yeah.
throw.
Yeah. Okay. Whitesoxdave, you're up again.
I'm gonna go to the villain category. I think he's got one of the most punchable faces in the history of sports. I'm going Grayson Allen. I fucking hated that douchebag, and I don't even really hate college basketball players because like I'm a fair weather college basketball fan for the most part. I don't get really into it other than when March comes around. But like you turn on a Duke game, you see him with his little frat swoop haircut. He's a dirty fucking player. He just like in 20, 30 years from now, they'll be making documentaries. I hate Grayson Allen. Like he's Christian Laettner Jr. I hated that motherfucker. He's the first college basketball player I've ever truly loathed. I wish I was old enough to really remember Christian Laettner. I'm not, but Grayson Allen was it for me.
Okay.
Great pick. I know people say, oh, but Leitner, Duke, same place. It's not the same kind of pizzazz, but I actually disagree. Like the whole a tripping incident.
Yeah, many.
Come on.
Like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
I know. Like a tripping problem, a tripping, like, you know.
Yeah, he's a dirty player,
yeah,
so
it
it
was-
wasn't just the face.
Falling into the coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
He
a
was
great
just
pick.
so fucking hateable.
I would have liked to have him too, so it was a good call. Grayson Allen off the board. All right, it's back to me. So I need villain, coach, and upset. I'm actually gonna go with an upset, and this is like I said. I guess I lied earlier, but I told you there would be some moments and that I haven't seen, and this one has been played over and over and over again. It's the best 30 for one of the best 30 for 30s. I think it's Survive and Advance, 1983, NC State,
Over Hughes.
Lorenzo Charles,
Yep.
the worst shot of all time, the putback.
Worst shot of all time.
Jimmy Valvano looking for a hug.
That's your upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
What was the line? I'm trying to find like historical lines, but that was like
NC
a
State
huge
was a
upset,
6
wasn't it?
seed. Yeah, NC State was a 6 seed.
That
Houston
was
the
Phi
favorite.
Phi Slamma Jamma, right?
Yeah,
Like Drexler and Elijah.
Yeah.
Elijah.
That was double digits. That was a
had to
double
have been.
digit spread, I believe.
It
Yeah, oh,
would have
yeah.
had to been.
I think that's the year. It was either that year or one of the next year where Olajuwon won Final Four at MOP without winning the title.
Yeah, wasn't it? They lost to Georgetown the next year, right?
Yeah.
Jake, you've seen that a million times.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
You know, that's like it's crazy.
Every year,
Yeah.
the Jimmy V speech, it's just him
Yes.
running on the court.
If you could
Pandemonium.
transcend that much from '83,
Yeah.
it's
That was
crazy.
40 years ago.
It's crazy.
I do think Valvano's cancer really elevates that thing too.
Yeah,
Like
I would agree.
if Jimmy V's still alive, like is he just considered like a Raleigh Massimino? Like we don't talk about Raleigh Massimino in '85 or Villanova. Well, I don't want to give away picks, but we don't talk about him the same way, and that's 2 years apart.
Good question.
Yeah.
See, I think Valvano is such a character, and the fact that like if he was still alive,
But so
he
is
still had
Raleigh.
that right. But he still had that reaction, like Valvano looking for a hug.
True.
That gets
True.
he does an interview every March about it if he's still alive.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's my pick. I'm happy to have it.
Good pick.
Yeah. Carl, you're up again.
I am would like to remind everyone to download the Barstool Sportsbook app, which I'm putting an Instagram post up. I'm sorry for losing my concentration there. I would like to take the first coach off the board. I'm taking Brad Stevens.
Great pick.
Brad Stevens will take any group of young men to an Elite Eight. I don't care who you are. I know there's bigger, bolder, badder names and all stuff. There are some very good drafts that are coming together. I know there's guys with titles, but if I'm going into March Madness, when I say March Madness coaches, I'm taking Brad Stevens.
He took Butler back-to-back championships.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a championship.
I know.
I don't think it matters. I think it's one of the, like the World Series of Poker. I think it's like to go to a final table twice in a row. That's just impressive as winning it once.
What a
and coming
comparison, Dave. Good comparison.
What did he say? Say it again.
in. Like to go to the championship twice in a row with Butler it's unbelievably impressive. Like that's more impressive to me than winning 3 titles in 6 years with Duke, because that's kind of expected.
Well,
Uh,
not.
see,
But I mean Butler, that's a 1 in a billion
Listen,
shot.
Also, extremely wholesome, lovable guy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
big time.
Everything
Yeah.
about Brad Stevens, I like Brad Stevens. If I have to pick a coach, part of this too is like I would want to play for Brad Stevens.
I wish he was back in college basketball. I'll say that.
I think
Same.
he'll end up
There's
at IU.
rumors about Indiana.
Yeah.
It would be so
there always are.
Now,
Yeah.
hey, answer me this, Reags and I guess Jake. I don't know how much of an NBA fan you are, but when he got hired by the Celtics, I'm like, dude, this baby face, like he's 35 or 37, like he's gonna get eaten alive by NBA egos. Like he doesn't stand a chance. From what I gather, and I am far from an NBA fan, I don't even really like it that much. He's done an awesome job with them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, players like him because he is so laid back and just kind of lets them. He knows how to push, and then he also knows like do your own thing, like you
Right.
guys. And that's kind of what he was known for at Butler too. Was he's a great X's and O's guy, but he also kind of like he let Gordon Hayward be Gordon Hayward.
And Gordon Hayward turned into a very good NBA player.
If Gordon
Yeah.
Hayward hits that shot,
That's
that moment is drafted, and then Brad Stevens is like, I don't think
first
anyone
off the
questions
If I'm
coach,
not
yeah.
mistaken, though, like the Celtic, I think he is falling out a little bit
Yeah.
of favor with the Celtics.
Well,
He
then-
is because
I mean
it's
that
also, like,
happens for every
Celtics
coach
fans-
in
Yeah.
professional
Been
sports.
there for like 8 years now,
Yeah,
something like that.
and they're kind of underachieving and everything.
I mean, if he goes to IU will be perennial top 5 team.
I hope he does go to IU.
I do too.
I would
think
like
he'd
to
be great for
also
the Big
point
Ten.
out what I think Brad Stevens is. I think he's just like a little bit different too than the other great March Madness coaches. But I do think, for purposes of my life and my experiences of watching March Madness, Brad Stevens qualifies to me as the
Yeah,
without really violating any of my.
I mean, they were a
There's
6
just
seed and
so
what?
there's
an
just
8 seed?
so many like iconic.
They were an 8.
Iconic.
They were a 5 the first year, then an 8 the second
Yeah.
year. They had to beat like Old Dominion in an 8-9 game. Matt Howard had like a buzzer beater. in the
Then they
first
had that
round.
ridiculous ending against Pitt in the round
Yeah.
of 32.
Yeah.
I think
All
that's a
right,
fantastic
Brad
pick.
Stevens off the board. Jake, you're up.
All right, I'm a numbers guy, so when you look at national championships as a coach, there's one man who will never be caught, and that's John Wooden.
Yeah.
I mean, the randomness of the tournament. Obviously, we saw Florida go back to back. I don't know if that'll be done again, but it's just so hard to get. I think this is the hardest sport to win a championship.
I have a bone with that though. Back then, when he was winning, there was only 16 teams, and it was very regional. Like the regions were the regions. So like UCLA, there were no other like powers. Like you went, you just beat
Right,
the
they
teams.
played Seattle in the first
They
round.
Fair.
played the San Francisco. You win 2 games, and you're in the Final Four, and so while it's the Wooden Award, it's this, it's that,
Yeah.
but it's not like like the randomness thing. Like it's not like he was going through the field of 64.
Right. That wouldn't happen in today's.
Right.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But just looking at
But
the
it's
numbers.
John Wooden.
Yeah.
The pyramid of success.
Yeah.
You guys know about the pyramid of success, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Great
Yeah.
pick. Good
John
pick.
Wooden.
Yeah.
Reags, you're up.
All right, so I have coach, upset, and player still to take. I think I'm going to go upset here. I'm debating between two. But I think one plays a little bit better than the other when you think of March Madness. That's George Mason making the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Doing
like
it-
Is that a
Doing
moment
it
or
as the
is that an
11th seed.
upset?
That's the upset.
So,
the game over UConn,
yeah, we need the game.
where Rudy Gay
Yeah,
just
then-
shit his pants.
Yeah, the game over UConn to get to the
Okay.
Final Four.
So Duke. So say it one more time. Sorry.
It's George Mason.
George Mason.
Over-
06.
Yeah, it was 6.
Yeah.
11
Yeah.
versus 1 seed.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that
11
was
1 Elite 8.
that was the year Florida won it with
Yeah,
Joe
that, and then they
King,
would.
yeah.
11
Gale
over
got-
1. George Mason over UConn.
Who is the
Yep.
coach for George Mason?
It
Lara.
was
Jim-
Lanega, who's
Jim
now in Miami.
Larinaga.
He's the guy who went to
Love that
Miami.
guy.
He went to
Still there.
Miami. He's
Yeah,
still there.
He's still
Love
there.
that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that you
Won a little
you
bit of a
had
run.
Nor-
Won 2
like,
games this week.
yeah, you had Norwood out there, who's now like the captain of Puerto Rico basketball with JJ Barea, or I'm sorry, the Philippines, I think he's with. But that, yeah, it was.
Great pick.
It's when I think like that was. I know like the other teams have gotten there, but that George Mason team beating that UConn team was loaded.
I had UConn winning it, and I just I hate Rudy Gay still. Like I still hate Rudy Gay.
I was at the game in Philly when Albany was a 16 seed and almost beat them. They were leading the second half, and like Rudy Gay and Marcus Williams had to go wild in the second half to beat Albany. So I'll take George Mason there, and
Great
then
pick.
That was the first like really low seed run that I got really into. I was like 14 or 15 years old.
There we go.
yeah, and then I think I'm gonna go player. Man,
It's tough, huh, Riggs?
I think I'm gonna take Carmelo.
Fuck you.
Wow.
Shout out the Cuse.
Yep.
Fuck.
Fuck you.
What a
He's
good
the-
fucking pick.
He was the first freshman to do it.
Yep.
He's the only reason that Jim Boeheim has a title and that people just don't constantly mock Jim Boeheim for being an underachiever at Syracuse in March.
Jake is a Syracuse guard. Please respond.
Yeah, I mean, they have the Mello Center. That's a practice facility named after him. So to make that much of an impact in what,
1
5
year?
months
Yeah.
of a college basketball season is insane.
I'm pretty sure he averaged a double-double in the tournament too.
He was
I mean,
awesome.
Yeah.
That was 100% my next pick. So I think it's a great pick.
Mellow.
Well, I'm not gonna say. What
I remember
I hate that his NBA
Jim
career is-
Boeheim told Carmelo Anthony, he's like, because from what I remember, Carmelo Anthony wanted to come back for his sophomore year, and Boeheim's like, no, you're not allowed. You have to go pro.
Right.
Like I like selfishly would love it, but at the same time, you can't do that. That's stupid.
One thing I always think about with him, like you said, brought up his NBA career. If he had come into the NBA and went to that Pistons team with all they had real guys like Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton and Chauncey to kind of take him under his wing, and then he could have been
Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun.
Yeah.
Like
He's
his
Dwayne
whole,
Wade.
Yeah.
Like Wade came into Miami with Shaq,
Shaq,
and Riley. Like that
Yeah.
is poster.
Different,
Like that's essentially we would talk about Carmelo the same way we talk about Wade.
Right. We talk about him as like an all-time great player.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus he's a great scorer.
Right.
He didn't really win though.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he's played on two
He's
shit
a bull for life, though.
organizations.
4-time gold medalist.
Greatest Team USA player of all time.
Damn straight.
All right, Carmelo Anthony off the board. Jake Marsh, you are up again.
I'm going to go player here. I'm going to go with Adam Morrison.
That's a great fucking pick.
Him, obviously, he didn't win it all, but he was a scorer, and this is going to sound very sports businessy, but his brand, right? He has the hair, he has the mustache, he has the T-shirt. He has that iconic, I guess,
crying.
the moment of the crying
To
after they
UCLA.
blew that lead in the
Yep.
16 against UCLA. He has so many things affiliated with him that you think, boom, Adam Morrison, Gonzaga. And he was the first Gonzaga player, at least in my time, that I remember, what's Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Who's this
Right,
guy?
yeah. You
Yeah.
had no idea what fucking state Gonzaga was in.
Right.
Let
He's
alone
the one. So since I'm a little older than you, Jake, I would say he was the one. Like there were definitely a couple guys before him, and then he was the one that put Gonzaga, where it's like you have to watch them
Yeah.
Right.
every single game.
Like they're going to be a Sweet 16 team every year.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Jake, I'll just say this as well. Never be afraid to go too sports businessy on this show.
Yeah.
All right. But yes,
We
his
will
brand.
welcome
He also,
with
yeah, his
stash.
brand. Like he looks like he could be the lead singer of Stillwater. You know, like you know. So,
I like that line drop.
hey, there you go.
Yeah, and
Great
also
pick.
I believe you could have used him as villain as well if you wanted to.
Sure.
People did hate him.
Really?
Yes,
I don't remember that as much.
people did dislike him.
I loved him. I
Good
remember
pick.
thinking it was insane when Jordan took him 3rd overall. Like that
Yeah,
was like, what are you doing, Michael?
He never did shit in the NBA.
He was. Wasn't he like okay
He
in
was
the
on the
Lakers?
Bobcats.
Yeah, he was, I mean, he
But,
played for a minute.
He's a college
but-
guy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He's the epitome of like college. When you think college basketball guy, like
Right.
he's one of the first names.
No, he had Larry Bird comparisons coming out of college.
Yeah.
He did because they're like, he gets space. You know, he's got high arc on his shots. You know, he can.
He's tall and white.
That's it.
Carl,
Taylor Coppenrath.
you're on the clock.
I'm on the clock.
Hopping around.
All right. Upset categories already tapped out. But there's 5 of those already. And there's 4 moments. So I need a moment and upset. So I'm basically at the very bottom
Interchange,
here.
yeah.
So with that said, I'm going to go with my moment, and I'm going to take MJ's game winner over Georgetown.
That's a good one.
I think that's pretty. I think that's chalk for 4th round.
Yeah.
So if you can get it, take it. I
Here's
still
the
think.
thing,
Listen,
though.
the Villanova shot's a better. I wish I had the Illinois upset. Obviously,
I mean, when you think about Michael Jordan,
You don't think a single thing.
that's not what I was going to say.
I completely disagree.
Okay, well, I was going to say, like, if you think of Jordan's career, the guy who's done everything, he's like the most iconic athlete of all time. If you're going to put up together like his best 5 moments, that shot's definitely in it.
100%.
I don't know that it is though. It's so overshadowed by everything he did in the NBA. The shot over the Cavs.
3. I think it's the Byron Russell in the finals. I think it's the shot on Elo, and I think it's that shot, that Carolina to beat Georgetown.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
He does say that's the moment he went from Mike to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this guy's a star.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Especially given that like you said, you're at the bottom of both 2 categories, which
Yeah.
is never really a place you want to be in.
yeah, no.
Yeah, so that's good value there. Back to me. Okay. I'm going to go with coach. Certainly there are more successful coaches, more coaches who have, title wins, but at the same time, there's only one coach who say death, taxes, and Izzo in March.
Yep.
So I got to go with Tom Izzo.
Painter. That's John Rothstein's thing.
Is that his thing?
Death taxes, Matt Painter.
Since when?
Always.
No.
Yeah, it's
Izzo in
always
March is a
January,
thing, too.
February, Izzo.
January, February, Izzo, April.
April, May. That's
Is
what
it
he
really?
does. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, I've heard the other one.
I mean, you're
John Rothstein.
directionally correct.
This
Yeah.
is what I
Directionally correct. You are directionally correct.
Put the sweatshirt on. Put the dictator sweatshirt on and take your.
Listen, I've been hearing that before John Rothstein was around.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know. I'm
Yes.
just being- yeah.
So
It's just me.
credit to him for changing the brand, but whatever. Tom
Is
Izzo.
it kind of weird that we do Izzo in March when he has 1 title?
It is. I
21 years ago?
acknowledge that.
and this
that.
goes
Right.
right back to my
I'm not
poker
knocking the pick.
comparison.
It's a good pick.
He's at the final table like every fucking year.
Yeah. Right.
And,
that's
that's
the thing.
that's
I
just
agree.
so impressive than being a one and done, getting bounced
Right.
in the first round.
And
He's consistently there.
especially when people give final tables a lot of fucking credit too. It's like, hey,
Getting to the
Fours?
Final Four matters in college basketball.
Correct.
And
correct.
he's
People
always there.
tend to forget that.
What has he been there 8 times or something crazy?
There was a stretch, I think, up until recently where if you played 4 years at Michigan State, if you came in as a freshman, left as a senior, you played in the Final Four under Izzo. It was like every senior class has done that except for, I want to say it happened 2-3 years ago, right before they made the Final Four again.
Yeah. So
Something like that.
it's Tom Izzo's my pick, and like I said, more successful, but Tom Izzo's my guy.
No, I think that's a home run pick.
There we go.
I don't know if that's a good thing because
because you're on the clock.
well, all right. So I'm going with someone. I hope he's on a bunch of your lists, but at the same time, I don't think he will be. But with that said, when I say his name, you're gonna be like, shit, I think that's a good pick. And he went from nobody knew who the fuck he was, and I'm taking my player right now, to all of a sudden he lit it up in March, and then he just disappeared, and he went and became a gym teacher or some shit. I'm going with Kevin Pittsnogle, West Virginia.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Mike Gansey. That was Mike Gansey's
that
team, though.
fucking his white trash look,
Yep.
just tall and gangly with the big ass fucking tattoos all over his arm.
That's a
just
great pick.
drained it. I don't even remember how far those West Virginia teams went, but everybody, and a lot of it had to do with his name's Pittsnogle, probably. Pittsnogle. But
They lost in the
which is
Elite
just
Eight that year,
a
right?
funny name.
Right, Jake? Yeah.
But everybody knew Kevin Pittsnogle.
Yeah, I think so.
I was in
Louisville.
high school, so you would have been probably, elementary,
Six.
6, 7, 8 years
It
old.
was my senior year of high school. I remember I was so pissed when they beat that Wake Forest team.
And everybody,
He's a legend.
Yeah.
like
He's
people
a
were
legend.
wearing, like in Chicagoland, I remember you got Pittsnoggled T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was. That's a great pick.
It's also the fact he went to West Virginia.
Yeah.
If he
Yes.
played at
And
if
he
he
was
played at
from there.
Michigan State, nobody cares.
Well, he transferred from St. Bonaventure.
I did
Which
not know
again,
that.
perfect. Like upstate New York, middle of nowhere.
He was from there too. That doesn't get said enough.
He didn't even
Hey,
start. at St.
so I got his
Bonaventure for 2
Wikipedia
years,
page
you know?
pulled up right now. He played a little bit in
Actually,
summer
I'm
leagues
sorry. I'm looking
bullshit.
at somebody else. I'm looking at Mike Gansey. I'm sorry.
So, following Pittsnogle's basketball career, he became a car
Pittsnogle.
dealer
How
in
many
his
times did I tell
hometown
you?
and currently works as a special education teacher and basketball coach. That reeks college. That reeks college because obviously it's harder to play in the NBA than probably any other sport just because the rosters are so small. The talent
Dave.
is that high.
I gotta say,
Kevin Pittsnogle screams March Madness.
it's a cute pick because like clearly Pittsnogle's not like one of the best.
I think it's.
But
great
at the
pick.
same time, it's a cute pick that probably is going to work out for you.
I think it's
because
great.
people love Kevin Pittsnogle.
Yeah.
Just the
It's a name you'll
yeah,
never
the
forget.
name, yeah,
Yeah.
the name, yeah.
And he did have like that, like just dirty.
Yeah.
You know.
He
like,
looked like he was from West Virginia.
Chin beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the
That's-
chin strap,
yeah.
the tattoos.
Good pick, Dave. All right, Chief, you got 2.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
I
Now,
was just going to make a statistical observation. Pittsnogle shot almost 7 3-pointers a game at 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
And,
you
like,
ran into him in a bar,
did he come? Was he
Fire.
just before his time?
The
Could he
original,
be
the
a-
original stretch 5. I
Yeah.
mean,
I was gonna say
probably.
you're talking like early to mid 2000. Like that run was 05. Like,
Yeah.
that was before like Tayshaun Prince was like the only stretch at the time.
Right.
Yeah, Pittsnogle was before his time.
Yeah, he'd be an all-star now.
In his career, he shot 41% behind the 3-point
Yeah,
line.
he could drain.
On 615 attempts.
It's like him and
Sorry,
Brad
I'm just
Miller.
into it. You know, I'm in it.
I mean, Portnoy even had a Kevin Pittsnogle reference in a pizza review like a week ago I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, his name lives forever, and
Yeah.
he never had shit for a pro career.
Chief, you're on the clock.
All right, I'm going with a team for a villain. I'm going with a Fab Five. Like that was like the most polarizing team. They had the bald heads, the black socks, the black sneakers. You know, they were like the rap guys. That was a team. Like I love them. Like I love that documentary. I remember thinking like again like that's early. Like I remember watching the Weber timeout as like a young child. I just remember like I loved those guys. Like and that they were like the sweetest team, but people fucking hated them. So I'm taking the Fab Five as my villain.
That's a great pick.
Is
That's
this,
a great pick.
Is
So,
this
like,
can of
you factor
worms
in, like,
here?
Why is that can of worms?
You think so?
Yeah, it's
I mean, he took
villains.
COVID,
It's
so
a good one.
The worms is already open.
It's-
the worm can.
The Fab Five brand. Were they villains?
Absolutely, they were.
I don't remember them, so
There's
I don't
way
have that.
there's way bigger team villains, I think, than Fab Five. No,
I think
maybe
they were
not.
for sure
I don't think so.
villains.
Who's the bigger-
Because there's like definitely like the older school people hated them.
Right.
Like, they came in. Michigan won the title right before they came in, and they just took over the team.
Right. Yeah, and they took over the Big Ten. And should I just go? Are people vetoing this? Is that what
No,
you're
I'm
waiting
not.
for?
No.
I mean, I
no.
don't
Okay.
think it's that great of a pick personally. But
Why not?
I mean,
Go back and watch that 30 for 30.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
They talk
but
about what all the
Truth be
villains
told,
are.
I'm just worried it's going to cloud my
It's.
my Chris
I mean, dude,
Webber timeout.
there's a team.
Well, I mean, we
in
already
that,
did that with
There's
Leitner
a team
and
in that
Shot.
exact era that was like going out and, like banging hookers and like fucking starting organized crime rings and shit.
I mean, this is also a team that had the banners removed because they got caught. They got busted for whatever they got busted for.
you know,
so
cheating
like,
on a fucking RST exam. Come
well,
on.
whatever. But like, so like, this is a bad boy team. This is a villain team. Like Jalen Rose is from like tough areas of Detroit. Like this was a polarizing team. They were absolutely villains.
There we go. Okay. Fab Five off the board. And who's your last pick here?
For my last pick, now I did have to Google if he had been canceled because I couldn't find it.
because you've done that before.
I know who's coming.
It's Bob Knight.
Yeah.
So Bob Knight, you know, and talk about people who hated the Fab Five. Bob Knight fucking hated them. Like he talks shit about them all the time. I love the Bob Knight quote. when I die, I hope they bury me upside down so everybody can kiss my ass. Like, that guy, like, he just did it his way. He was a big-time asshole. Like, if somebody had taken the Fab Five, I would have taken Bob Knight as my villain.
I think Bob Knight's a better villain than the Fab Five.
Well, guess what, Bob? I got them both. So,
You did.
and he's just like, and you talk about legends of the game. Like, Indiana's never been the same. Like, he got fired, and he's, you know, he's got demons and all that, whatever. He is one of those, you close your eyes, you think about college basketball, like Bob Knight's one of those guys. And gotta have that red sweater, the throw in the chair, the, you know, 3 national championships, the last perfect season. Bob Knight as my coach, I feel great about it.
I mean, listen, I believe he's very canceled, if I'm not mistaken. But
I Googled Bob Knight canceled.
No, he's pretty canceled.
What did he do?
He's not canceled.
Isn't he? Bob would
A
know.
lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Trump supporter, and I think that's why he's canceled. Which I don't.
He also
think
has
is
like,
cancelable, really.
I'm pretty sure he had.
He choked out a
something
player.
happen.
Big deal.
They brought him back last year.
I saw that. Yeah.
But regardless, I'm kind of just saying.
I mean,
like, we're talking about the like when he was there, and like,
Yeah.
I get it. But the chair throwing is.
I
another thing
remember
that you've
when
seen
he
him
got
do.
hired by Texas Tech. First of all, do you remember when SIU beat them? I do, in the Sweet 16, I believe, or no, to go to the Sweet 16. Anyways, he said that comment because he like put Indiana basketball on the map, and like for a college, and
He made Texas Tech pretty good, too.
This is the most comfortable red I've ever worn in my life. Just giving him big fat middle finger to Indiana
I love that.
in the press conference when he was getting introduced as their coach.
All right, Dave, you're up, and you need a coach.
I need a coach, so I cannot draft Coach K. Correct?
Nope.
I cannot draft Coach K. So I'm going to go with his, counterpart, his antithesis. I don't know how to put it. I'm going to go with Roy Williams.
I've never been a Roy guy.
Yeah, he's a boring pick, but he gets
Kind
the
of
job
a
done. Like
dink.
he's Dick or Dink.
Dink.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And
All shucks,
Yeah.
vomit, and all that. Yeah.
I got
I mean, he does have that. I mean, they had their academic cheating scandal at UNC. I think that was more than just basketball, but obviously he would have had to play a role, and I think the football team got in trouble too. What was that, like 6, 7, 8 years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's got the championship pedigree. I think you can't have Coach K on the graphic without having Roy Williams on the graphic because it's, I mean, that's the best rivalry in college basketball, bar none. And it's like yin and yang. Like they have to be together.
Okay.
Can it be the best rivalry when they typically just split 1-1 and you have to talk about that? Like, there's no winner in that rivalry. They split
That's
every
what makes it
every
great.
That's
year.
what makes
That's
it
what
great.
makes
If
it
it's
great.
like Ohio State and Michigan, like it's not a rivalry anymore in football.
Is a nail a rival with a hammer?
You have to have a winner. Like you can't even talk shit to the other side.
That's what makes it
That's
great.
what makes it great. Like Michigan
I
has no
disagree.
ground to stand on because
I
they
hate that.
can't beat Ohio State anymore in football. And that rivalry is like doesn't have near
It
the
has
juice
to.
it used
It's
to.
way better when it's 50-50.
I wish
Yeah.
they just played. My point is, I wish they just played once a year.
And not even that. How far a part of the
8
two?
miles.
It's 8 miles down Tobacco Road,
Yeah.
right? I was going to say 12, but it's very short. It's
Can I-
very short.
Does everybody have a coach or no?
No,
Okay.
I have a coach left to take.
Then I will
Thank you.
refrain from commenting.
Thank you.
But I think you made a mistake.
I think so too. Because I wonder if we're on the same page. There's one coach that I
What
would
did
have
you want? I can't
that I would
say.
have really liked to have. That I took his over him, but I really love this guy.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm up. I need my villain. It's tough here. There's still villains on the board, and I like this guy. So I don't like you. Tell me if I don't think I'm being disingenuous because he was viewed as a massive villain and people did dislike him. But he's had a big face turn. But it's JJ Redick for me. Like he was hated.
He
People
was
didn't like him.
probably like the most publicly like he probably got it worse from opposing fans than anyone ever.
Yeah, and
So I think he's a villain. If this was a college basketball draft, I think he's a huge. I mean, I think he's a first-round villain.
yeah. And I
For
don't-
March Madness, they got upset when he was a senior. He didn't really, he was on some great teams with other great players. He was awesome his senior year, and then they lost to LSU.
And he's done a lot post college and in the NBA to like kind of rehab that image.
No, I
He's been
know,
a-
but if we're talking college,
I know.
It's,
So that's
He's an
what-
all-time
it-
villain.
it-
You want this
all-time
show to
villain.
get picked up by his podcast network. You want it to get not picked up, but you want to get.
Yeah, get some traction.
Get some traction in
And
the
he
news.
said on part of my take, Jake, like how much it like affected him and shit.
Yeah, he's the first Duke villain I remember. Like obviously Leitner's historical, but for like people my age, I would say.
I think he wanted to quit.
Because
Really? I didn't know that.
Maryland fans almost made him quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of his.
Didn't they say
about
something with his sister? And
Yeah, something
They
about
found
his
his
sister.
cell phone, I remember. And they were like he couldn't fucking have a cell phone because people kept finding it and giving it to like UNC fans, Maryland fans, and shit. And they had
Cell
JJ
phones.
sucks chant.
Someone found his like AOL screen name, and they were just sending him like obnoxious AIM
Yeah.
messages back in the day too.
Yeah.
he was also like,
Like
I
don't.
loved him. He was so
Well, he's a guy
sweet.
you need in college
Yeah.
basketball.
I
And
didn't.
he would just like
think,
100%.
pull up from like 30 feet and just bang right in your
yeah.
eyeball. He
like
was
I
awesome.
never remember hating him personally.
But you know people.
Oh,
hated him.
obviously, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But
I
like,
hate
He had
to
that,
do the
like,
numbers
half
thing
cut
again,
off.
but he averaged 27 a game as a senior,
and he had a
in the
really good
ACC.
NBA career.
As the
He's still
fucking
playing, I think,
best
right?
player for Duke, knowing he's going out there
Yeah.
trying to get 27.
And you knew exactly how he was going to
Yep.
score, and he still couldn't
Yeah.
stop.
Monster. All right, JJ's my final pick. Carl, you need a final pick.
I just as quick little Roy Williams anecdote. He recruited my buddy, and I met him in August when he was like in the weight room when we were in high school. It was like it was like, "Hi, I'm Mike," and he's like, "Hi, I'm Roy Williams." And months later, in December, so it was August and December, he was at a game watching my buddy play. He was at a game watching my buddy play, and I was standing in line at halftime to get a hot dog, and he was behind me in line, and I turned around, and he was like, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Really?
And he goes, "I'm in the business of remembering young man's names."
Yeah.
And he like shook my hand firmly, and he was in the nice blazer with the fucking tie. It was a very powerful experience for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
that's awesome, actually.
Yeah, it was really cool. All right, I need an upset. I told you guys that I wanted orange and blue on my board before this, and like I'm in this position where I actually think I can compete for the draft. And Mad Dave took the Illinois upset, so like I'm gonna walk
That
that,
wasn't an
back.
upset.
I'm not taking the. Or I keep confusing upset and comeback.
Comeback, yes.
I'm sorry.
We're all brain fogged. It's fine.
I would like to take a 5th round chalk upset. I'm taking what I think is a 1st round upset. I'm taking Nova versus Georgetown 1985. 8-1 national championship.
That's the one I debated when I picked George Mason.
Like, if I look at the upset, 16-1 is obviously notable. I think the 1-1's a little weak. Florida Gulf Coast is super sweet. George Mason is like has some recency nostalgia to it where it was cool. But like as far as bread and butter NCAA upsets,
Yeah.
Nova versus Georgetown. I mean, it's a national championship, 8-1. And what was special about that Georgetown team? I mean, I know
Patrick
like
Ewing.
yeah, right? Weren't they like the
Yep.
biggest, baddest?
John Thompson, Ewing. Yeah, they were loaded.
Great pick.
And it's quite literally known as one of the biggest upsets ever. So
Yeah.
Oh man, this is such a deep
it really is.
deep
so many.
draft.
Uh-huh.
There's so many good ones. I just watch on YouTube like best March Madness upsets.
Did you?
Just like 10, not recently, just like
a ton,
in my
yeah.
life. Yeah, it's the best.
Jake,
There's
you're
cool,
up. Oh, you sorry.
if we did 1st round upsets,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. There'd be a ton.
Yeah,
you know,
There's a
because
bunch
I
in
know
the
there's
bank
some
here.
great
yeah.
A
teams.
lot of
and
buzzer
names and all-
beaters where it's like the 11 over the 6, 12
Right.
over the 5.
Right. So my last pick is, what do I have left? I have a moment. The moment. So a lot of you guys took moments early. This one's a shot. It's Mario Chalmers in 2008 to send Kansas to overtime to get the win. Obviously, it didn't win them the championship, but if they don't have that shot, they don't get it.
Huge shot.
Similar to Ray
Yep.
Allen with the Heat. LeBron doesn't have the title if they don't get that. Bosh
Yep.
didn't get the rebound. So for here for college, it's a poster board, like just him in the air. It's
Yep.
one of the best
Stole it
shots
from
ever.
D Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What they didn't win that game?
They
They
did.
did.
Oh, they
It's
did.
like
They
that
did.
was sent to the
Memphis,
overtime.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was
that-
gonna say, I was like, wait, what?
but it didn't win them the game.
Okay,
like that
okay.
shot.
Yeah,
It's not like
It
a
sent it to
shot.
overtime.
Yeah.
yeah.
Huge shot. Great moment.
Great, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think counterpoint, obviously, you're in a Chicago office on a Chicago podcast like Derek Rose.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
That was tough for us.
Yeah.
I was not happy about that shot.
Right. Well, because he was a legend already.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
we
D-Rose, yeah.
we loved him because he was a
missed a
Chicago
free
guy
throw,
before.
like, it
right.
was-
Right.
Yeah.
Tough
Also,
moment.
if they don't make that shot, they're a blue blood. They don't have the championship. We're looking at 1988
Yeah.
is their last championship.
Yeah.
prior to
And
that.
self never has one.
Yeah.
Right. So you're looking at 30 plus years if they don't have that
Huge.
of a blue blood not winning it all. So.
Big moment.
Big moment for sure.
All right, Reags, who is Mr. Irrelevant?
So I have to take a coach, and there are 3 big names out there. But I got to say true. Dave, you like to use the poker table reference. There is one coach since he took over a blue blood program that has won NCAA tournament games more than anyone else.
Shut
and that's
up.
John Calipari.
Oh, no.
He made Kentucky relevant because of the NCAA tournament. He's got a title. He's got multiple Final Fours. He's literally won more NCAA tournament games than any other coach since he took over Kentucky. Got there with UMass. Got there with Memphis.
He's a cunt.
I like Cal.
I
can't stand him. He just reeks
That's
like
that's a
snake oil
massive
salesman.
homer pick.
You're advancing in the NCAA tournament if he's your coach.
I was like,
I don't
Or
know
you're
that.
not making the NCAA
Or you're
tournament.
not making it and you're going,
Yeah.
what,
Or
9
the
and
NIT,
16?
or the CBI, or the CIT. Or losing in the first round
year.
against Robert Morris in the NIT on the road because you can't host because of the
Get him,
NCAA
Jake!
tournament.
Get him, Jake!
It's
But
all
we're talking the NCAA tournament. Nerlens Noel got hurt that year,
Yeah,
otherwise
yeah.
they're a 6 seed. And again, like he wins every time he's in the NCAA tournament.
it's also the only Kentucky relevant Kentucky coach that hasn't been canceled. So he's kind of boxed in if he wants a Kentucky guy. Can't take Pitino. Certainly can't take Adolph Rupp.
No,
You can't do that.
So Pitino, the other 2 coaches that were left Pitino was one for sure.
I
Calhoun
fucking
was the
hate
guy
him.
that I was gonna
Calhoun.
take.
I was being.
That was when we were talking about.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me read them off. Then we'll get honorable mentions and we'll get out of here. Chief Leitner shot with 2 seconds left. Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City over Georgetown. D. Brown, Fab 5, Bob Knight. Whitesoxdave, Illinois beats Arizona. Wisconsin over undefeated Kentucky. Grayson Allen, Kevin Pittsnoggle, Roy Williams. Eddie, Chris Webber, timeout. Kemba Walker, 1983, NC State over Houston. Tom Izzo, J.J. Redick. Carl, COVID-19. Steph Curry, Brad Stevens. MJ, game winner over Georgetown. 1985, Villanova over Georgetown. A lot of anti-Georgetown there. Jake, Christian Leitner, UMBC over Virginia. John Wooden, Adam Morrison. Mario Chalmers shot in 2008 versus Memphis. Reags, Chris Jenkins, 2016 game winner. Coach K, George Mason over UConn. Carmelo Anthony, John Calipari. Honorable mentions, let's do coaches. Yeah, you said right there. That was Calhoun was the one I was.
Okay, so that's not what I thought.
I would have really liked.
So when he was talking about Roy Williams, he's like that rivalry, like you can't have Coach K without Roy Williams. Well, I really think of that as Dean Smith. Yeah. Like Dean Smith to me is the North Carolina coach. That like he's. When you're talking about North Carolina coaches, if you're going to take one, you take Dean Smith.
I'm not. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not
but
my.
Dave's watched Roy.
Yeah,
sure,
exactly.
Sure.
And they have the same amount of titles now, right? Roy's got 3, Dean's got 3, Dean had 4.
I forget.
Dean
Might
had
have
93.
I don't forget. I don't know.
I don't know, but like Dean Smith was like the all-time winningest coach for a long time. You know,
Right.
like it's the Dean Dome. It's the Dean Dome.
Correct.
For a reason. So like that's
Smith has 2.
Smith has 2. Okay.
Roy Williams has 3. It was
He's got
05,
3.
06
Yeah.
against U of I.
2017.
And then
2017.
I mean, Jake Marsh is going to
There's
get
so many-
56% of this vote.
You think so?
You think?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think this is wide open.
Yeah.
I think it's
now that
pretty
it's
wide
shaped
open.
up and we're looking, because people hate Calipari, people love John.
Hey, I'll say this again because you guys shit on my Wisco over UK pick. I remember at that point of the season, what was Kentucky 38-0 or whatever. There was people talking about could they beat NBA teams? What would the line be against like the Bobcats or whoever was the worst team in the league then?
That was still the dumbest thing that we do.
It's completely stupid. But if it's talked about, that shows how good of a fucking team you
Hold
are.
on. So
Even if the line's like 40.
who did you say Calhoun and who else were you between?
Patino.
Patino? Yeah, I mean Patino was fucking.
He's
I
scum.
have one too.
But still,
I hate him.
Homerish.
Behan.
No, you guys will appreciate this, but Billy Donovan winning back-to-back
Yeah.
tournaments in a 64-team format.
So
I don't know if that'll ever be
underappreciated.
done again.
Maybe
You
not,
guys,
especially in
have
this
them
Made
on
era.
there.
made a
Yeah.
bunch of Elite Eights too.
Yeah, I grew up a
Very-
Gator fan, so that's like hard to do.
That was when the Florida Gators, like, like they're with Tebow. They won back to back with Tebow, and then
Yep.
back to back in basketball. Like that, those are the only two sports that matter in college. And Florida was on top of the world.
He had Joe
probably have to
Noah,
throw
Al
out-
Horford, fucking
Ronnie Brewer.
Ronnie Brewer,
Those are
Corey
some
Brewer.
unbelievable teams.
Yep.
To
Probably
me, the
have to throw
appeal
out-
of March Madness is the charm of that upset and the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
appeal. I don't know.
There's so many coaches though, like Cheney, Bob Huggins, like they're like
Jay Wright.
like the list just goes. Raleigh Massimia, if you want to go back to like those old Big East coaches too.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many like great iconic coaches.
Let's do player real quick. The one I was talking about, what I would love to get, I think he's the best college player I've ever seen, was Jason Williams.
Yep.
Yep.
He was.
I agree with your take on that too.
Yeah. he was
Dwayne
just
Wade from
amazing.
Marquette,
Yeah.
like he was on my
Wade.
list. Like I was between Wade and Brown.
I had. I didn't want to go old school, but Alcindor and Bill Walton. But
Yeah.
I did the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Can't do it.
I had Anthony Davis and then Miles Simon from Arizona in '97 when
yeah.
they won
Current
the title.
ESPN analyst, right?
It was Miles Simon and Mike.
No, he's an assistant coach now for the Lakers.
Oh, okay.
It was Miles
Reese
Simon
Bib-
and Mike Bibby on that
previous.
team. Like Bibby, like this is like when my college basketball brain was.
Yeah.
It was that era.
Sharp.
Yeah.
You got to give Jimmer and Doug McDermott some love.
Yep.
Jimmer.
Oh, that's a great call,
Yeah,
Jimmer. I
Jimmer.
didn't.
I
I,
love
didn't think of
Jimmer.
him.
Jimmer was before Steph when it came to chucking up deep threes.
Yeah, it
right? Or was Steph
Steph-
before?
Steph was
No,
like
Steph was
Steph was
first.
before.
Jimmer was
Okay.
in like 2011. Yeah, 2011.
Yeah. Gators ended
Dougie
his career in
McBuckets was
Sweet
sick,
16.
Villain. Anybody else?
had-
Marshall Henderson.
I
That's
had
not
him
for
too.
NCAA tournament though, because they won like one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he's a name that pops up.
Yeah,
as,
when he's
like,
flicking
yeah.
off
yeah.
the
yeah.
I forget what student section.
I did have
Yeah.
a villain.
Who?
I have a villain. If I wasn't able to get the Illinois upset, if I got the shot or the Weber timeout, my villain was going to be the officials from the 2005 national championship game. Those filthy motherfuckers calling fouls on James Augustine.
He fouled out with 0 points, right?
Yeah,
Against Sean May.
And he literally played like 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, story, like quick buddy of mine from college saw James Augustine like out at the bars like August of his senior year because he came back. That was 05 his junior year. Comes back senior year, and it's Augustine and D. Brown to play that year. And they had gotten the team up to maybe like 5-6 in the national rankings. I think they were a 4 seed.
they were-
lost to Wisconsin. Roy, who's the guard? Roy fucking doesn't matter.
Raymond Felton.
Thank you. No, it wasn't him. The guy from Wisconsin who played for the Blazers who scored a ton. I'm way off.
Devin Harris.
Orlando Tucker.
Earl.
Brandon Roy?
Brandon Roy, bad knees.
He went to-
Great.
Brandon
He went
Roy
to
went to
Washington.
Washington.
You're
What
thinking
did I say?
Devin Harris.
Devin
Harris.
Or what
I'm
did I say?
sorry,
Devin.
guys. I'm sorry.
Devin Harris.
I said Devin
I am
who?
so off the rails. Anyways, I had a buddy in college who was kind of like Whitesoxdave a little bit, kind of like me a little bit. Just, we were outside of Cam's and he saw James Augustine come out, and it like left early, and my buddy was just like, "Hey, did Sean May kick you out of the bar?" And he just like literally picked him up, was I'll fucking kill you. And so it's like a story
I'll
around
let the
our
record
group
show
of
that I would
buddies
never,
that, like,
ever in a million years pull a move like that, and that's a douchebag move. So that's not like me.
But it was like I think it was the excitement of just seeing James Augustine because when we were like young kids on campus and you'd see the athletes,
Dave,
it wasn't.
Do you want to give your James Augustine story now?
I absolutely do. I was
kinda
at
pull-
a
I've seen you
Bears
pull a
fan
move like that.
convention, and this is in 04, 05. I was in high school, and I had a ball that had a football that had like a white part on the ball that was
An autograph ball.
Yeah, it was an autograph ball, specifically made to get autographs. And I had Gail Sayers on there, Coach Ditka, Brian Urlacher, and then I see James Augustine there because they were in town staying at the Hilton to play Northwestern. And I see James Augustine walking around. I'm like, hey, that's James Augustine. He heard me say that. He's like, you want my autograph? And he grabbed the ball and autographed it, and I still have it at my dad's house.
So Gail Sayers.
all those fucking, all those like crazy
Hall of
legends,
Fame.
Hall of Famers from the Bears, and then James Augustine.
But is it a
didn't want it?
basketball?
No, it's a football.
Did he do it like you wanted to say no?
I'm like I don't give a shit. I thought it was funny because it's not like I don't do autographs. I
But
don't care.
he thought it was serious, right?
He thought it was serious.
Yeah.
Like he was signing for a lot of people because Illinois was like they ran Chicago for a hot minute, you know.
Very
like,
hot.
even though that this Illinois team's awesome, it's not going to come close to
They'd
the
have to
star
win.
power.
They'd have to win the national.
That's
title,
right. They'd have to
obviously.
win it all because D. Brown was like the most beloved athlete and figure in the state at the time, in my opinion.
I thought you were going to throw this out for a villain for an honorable mention. Jerry Tarkanian in UNLV. When you mentioned the team in the around that era that was doing everything.
I thought the
was
90,
UNLV,
yeah, the
Arcadia.
91, that 91-92 team.
Yeah.
90, 89, 90, I think. Duke won it 91,
No,
92.
91.
91 was Duke.
Right. UNLV won 90, lost 91.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Because they beat Duke by like 100 and then lost.
Right.
Yeah, they were like going out and doing hot tub like
Yep.
I
The
don't know,
running
they were, like,
Rebs.
partying Vegas
Yeah.
casinos and stuff.
Tyler Hansborough, Aaron Kraft. Two other ones. I
I had Joakim Noah.
Yeah. Noah. And I love Noah, so I can never put him on there. And then upset, another one I just want to shout out was Ali Farouk-Manesh in Northern Iowa.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sick shot
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
in the corner.
What about Bryce Drew for a moment? I
So
almost
that
took
was-
that as a moment.
I
But
had that for a moment.
it just doesn't.
That's the one when I was in like 5th grade or 4th grade. I remember running home from the bus and like flipping on the TV in the kitchen right as Bryce Drew was like getting the inbounds pass to hit that shot.
I remember going to practice, and that's all we ever wanted to like do for the
Yeah.
next month was just run that pacer play. Tyus Edney going full court
That's
with
a good
UCLA
one.
was a moment.
Mhm.
Gordon Hayward miss.
Yep.
That's the biggest what if moment of the entire thing, I think. Keith Smart winning for Indiana over Syracuse. And then we talked about it earlier, I had the RJ Hampton, Ron Hunter, or RJ Hunter, Ron Hunter falling out of his chair.
What about Tommy Coverdale? I like a Tommy
Ooh,
Coverdale.
That's a
I
great
like
call.
Tom
That's a
Coverdale.
great March Madness
Yeah.
guy.
Rip Hamilton against Washington at the free
Yeah.
throw line. That was a good one. Sweet 16.
See, I'm not like for the players category. I wasn't really thinking of like best players by far. Like Tom Coverdale, he was good at
That's
IU.
March Madness to me,
That's
though.
March Madness. Like the redhead, scrawny white guy
Slap on the
that
floor.
that takes over for a handful of games, and everybody's talking for him, and then you never think about him again. But everybody remembers Tom Coverdale on those Indiana teams.
And you know what he's doing right now? I'm not joking. He's in Indiana selling.
yeah, insurance, something.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Sorry.
guarantee it. That's what makes March Madness the best.
In 2012, we had two 15s over a 2 within like an hour of each other. Lehigh over Duke and Norfolk State over Missouri, and they just happened back to back.
I
after
don't
15.
remember Norfolk State over Missouri.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was the
Kyle-
Presti brothers,
Kyle
Kylo
Quinn.
Quinn.
See,
Yeah.
Kylo Quinn,
I was
yeah.
gonna draft that for my upset, or not that, the Lehigh over Duke, and then I'm like, I mean, that's too chalk. Like, I can't do it. Like, I didn't feel it. Like, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I remember I was zoned the fuck in for that Wisconsin over Kentucky game.
Yeah.
Well, all right, boys. Reags, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Jake Marsh, thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, 6-person draft. We went long, but hey, it's fucking March, baby.
That's right.
Big week,
Ed,
big
thanks for
weekend.
showing up on time.
I had to pick up our guest.
Throw Jake Marsh on
Jake
the bus.
Marsh of
Throw him
part of-
under the bus.
He could have expensed an
it was-
Uber.
No, I was ready to go.
Yeah. Jake, but I had Jake Marsh of part of my take. We just have to treat him well,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Nice. That was fun, Jake.
And you
Thank
know what?
Jake.
If you would have coordinated, I could have picked him up because he's on the way. I'm
True.
assuming.
well, I was nice enough to be like, "Hey, Jake, I'll pick you up." You didn't think of it.
It's fine.
All right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for listening. We will see you all tomorrow.